Welcome to the PropTech Podcast. It's Kylie Davis here, and I'm delighted to be your host as we explore the brave new world where technology and real estate collide. I passionately believe we need to create and grow a sense of community between the innovators and real estate agents, and sharing our stories is a great way to do that. So the aim of each episode of the PropTech Podcast is to introduce listeners to an innovator who is pushing the boundaries between what's possible and where we could be going, and explore the issues and challenges raised by the tech and how they create amazing property experiences. In this episode, my guest is Michael Dornan, CEO of MovingHub. They're a business that's been an early innovator in the proptech space of connection services, and they're continuing to raise the bar. Welcome, Michael, to the PropTech Podcast. Thanks so much for being our guest.
Thanks, Carly. I'm glad to join you.
Yeah. So Michael, what we always ask our guests to do is to give us their elevator pitch. So tell us the MovingHub's elevator pitch.
Yeah. God, where do I start, really? I think MovingHub solves quite a few different problems, Carly. And if I may, perhaps I can give you a little bit of background.
Sure.
MovingHub was started almost 7 years ago by myself. My background prior to that was as a CIO for an energy company, and at the same time, a startup utility connections company. Mm-hmm. That utility connections company soon became the largest and most successful at that time. Traditional utility connections companies had a strategy that saw agents send their customer details to them and for them to call back into their own brand, not the agent's brand. I always felt this created a disconnect for the customer, who often asked, "Who are you? Who gave you my details?" The element of trust was lost and had to be regained. So our USP from day one was to focus on the agent's brand, not our own. So we white label out of the box, and 99% of the 6,000 companies that use our technology white label. They want to extend their brand value to the customer, adding value to their brand, not just in a new revenue stream, but service-based value, becoming more than a single transaction, seeking referrals and repeat business from those customers. I also felt that there was no real transparency into the customer experience, such as what services were sold, what emails and SMSs or other communications had happened, and what was being said to the customer, how the customer was being spoken to, what the experience needed to look like for the partner or the agency we were working with. Not doing it the same for every agency. Basically, every agency could create their own experience, and we would be part of that. But also offering more than just electricity and gas to the customers, pre and post services, not just the basics. We also want to make sure we don't harm the customer. And lastly, most importantly, what commissions the agency was earning from us and where that process was up to, where that payment process was up to.
Right. So MovingHub's value proposition is there are quite a few connection companies out there, but what you guys offer is a white label experience where the agency can brand as many or as little or as few services around moving that they want to put together and deliver that under their own brand.
That's right. So we create technology and platforms and apps that allow an agency, let's say it could be a single office, a single agency, or it could be an agency with 100 offices or 1,000 offices. We allow them to create an experience where we would talk under that office's brand, and we would also be able to understand where the customer's details came from. So, say it was ABC Real Estate in Bondi, and we were, the customer was referred through to us by, James. We would be able to talk to the customer, say, your property manager, James, gave us your details. We're part of the connections team for ABC Real Estate. We're here to help you get moved into your home. So it's a real sort of warm extension to the original conversation that happened with the agency and the person they were dealing with.
And I love this too because it's actually, everyone hates moving. It's one of the most terrible things you can do in your lifetime. I did it 20 years ago and I'm still scarred. But and the idea of having to move every year or so if you're in a rented place sort of fills me with horror. But how big's the market opportunity, Michael? Why should agents be helping people move each year?
Well, I think real estate's a tough game, Kylie, with lots of competition. And we find that agents and principals want to help their customers. Most genuinely care that the customer gets a great experience.
Mm-hmm.
We care about helping with that. Value-added extras are critical to ensuring the customer gets an end-to-end experience. From what the real estate agent does right through to getting them settled into their home. I think everyone wants to be able to continue the relationship with their customers, especially if there's repeat business. And I think that's important. Often, I know where I live, we still see the property manager that helped us.
Mm-hmm.
She sold houses to the left and to the right of us. And we have a relationship. And if we'd sold, we would give her a call. And I think, being able to build up that relationship with things like value-added services that remove the pain. And I get what you're saying when you're talking about painful moves, and people always do it the hard way.
They do.
Too often have I avoided the removals and tried to do it myself. And every time I say I'm never doing that again, but I always do. So, yeah.
So how many people are moving in Australia every year? I mean, there's usually around about 400,000 or so property sales, but there would be 31% of the market's renting as well. So do you know what the volumes are around this in Australia each year?
Yeah, I think approximately 2.5 million people moved to a different address last year.
Wow.
And that was up a couple of 100,000 from the previous year. So
yep.
It's a growing trend. And as you say, with rentals, more people are renting than ever.
Yep.
They do move a lot more frequently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it is a growing trend. But that's those numbers are quite big.
Yeah. And what's the average spend of someone moving? And if you're moving because you bought something versus moving because you've renting something, is there a big difference there? Do you know?
Yeah, I think it really depends on the mover's existing circumstances.
Yeah.
And their age.
Yep.
I think the data suggests between 1 to 2K, is pretty normal. Over 50% of movers are aged between 23 and 39.
Mm-hmm.
So you would expect that they've accumulated a lot of bits of furniture. So removals is probably going to be the biggest expense if they don't try and do it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Followed by other items such as insurance on your car, which may have increased due to the change of postcode, etc. Some recent research, actually, that I was reading suggested Aussie home buyers spend up to 863 million per year on moving costs they did not account for. And those are things such as packing, removals, cleaning, and connecting utilities being the sort of main culprits.
Mm.
But one interesting thing that I was reading recently is that and what we've found is that in the first 6 months of moving into a new home, and I personally found this, the average homeowners will spend more in those first 6 months than they will in the following 3 years. So it's really about getting moved in, getting established, and getting comfortable. And those first 6 months are critical, and the move process is all part of that.
Yeah, and there's always just more things that you've forgotten about that you're going to need to put your hand in your pocket for, aren't there? So just to go through kind of systematically for me, there's types of services that can be included inside MovingHub include actually moving and packing, or
yeah. So we really focused on making sure that we could service the entire move, not just electricity, gas, and broadband, the ones that pay the higher commissions. We wanted to make sure that we were helping people move, not just switching providers, but helping people actually move into their home. And for me, that was more than just those core services. It was about what do you need moving in, and what perhaps do you need when you've moved in. So we've got 26 different service categories, and they would be from sort of, as I mentioned, electricity, gas, broadband, right the way through to white goods or homewares, but also plumbers and electricians and gardeners. And one thing that we do that is very unique to what anybody else does is we allow agencies to onboard their own providers. So they may have a relationship with a local florist or a local plumber. They can actually onboard them into our platform and offer referrals through to those in our platform and track those. And that's completely independent of what we do. And a value add that our platform offers.
Let's just pause there for a moment and hear a quick word from our sponsors. If your business is growing quickly, you need to scale your team. Beepo is an Australian outsourcing company that specialises in helping real estate and technology businesses to grow. Outsourcing is not just about bringing on staff with a lower cost base. Beepo recruits and manages staff based in the Philippines who will become full-time members of your team. They will help you identify the key skill sets, the employment history and other attributes that you need from your employees and match your requirements with the right staff. Beepo will also help you to break down your structure, job descriptions, task management and to understand how having a virtual team fits into your organisation. Done properly, outsourcing can help you understand the internal processes of your business, drive your efficiency, and provide you with a roadmap for growth. So talk to Beepo and scale your business for success. So what's the opportunity for a typical agency in terms of revenue that they could earn through your platform?
It ranges between $150 per customer to $300 per customer, and that really depends on the model they use with us. I'll briefly touch on those. I mean, we offer two main models, with a third coming up in the not too distant future. But those two main models are white label or hybrid. The white label is typically where the customer uses our entire platform and all our services, but leverages our expert team of movologists. So we call our team movologists. They're not salespeople. They're not customer service people. They're specialists in helping people with multi-service get moved into their home and helping people get the right deals. We offer complete choice, so we don't force anyone to take specific providers. But then the hybrid model is where our team are not used and the customer may transact online. So we don't have that overhead of paying someone to phone someone. And that's a real option where someone can use our technology built into their existing journeys or experience or CRM. And they literally just leverage the providers in our marketplace and don't need to speak to any of our team to have the customer move. So, the amount of money ranges based on the solution, essentially. Right.
And so why do you think agents should be looking at new revenue opportunities? What isn't it taking your eyes off the main game of sort of selling or property management?
Yeah, I don't think so, Carly. Mainly, one, every little bit helps. And I think the idea is that they do very little when they work with us. We integrate into most platforms and we have lots of different solutions to minimize the amount of work that they have to do, including apps that allow them to take a photograph of the tenancy application. And then that's it. That's all they do. We do the rest. So really what we aim to do is actually keep their eyes on their main game, as you said, rather than have them take their eyes off it, by minimizing what they do with us and then maximizing the experience they can give to their customers.
Fantastic. And so are you integrated with CRMs, or how does it work from an agency point of view, or are you a specialized app that they need to download?
Yeah, well, every which way, basically. We have, we've got some of the largest real estate groups in Australia using our technology, and and we've got individual sort of one-man bands right the way through to small offices. We have solutions that can be used by everyone in a variety of different ways, whatever suits their needs. We've got widgets that can be dropped into their website. But typically, and we're integrated with almost all of the CRMs in Australia, typically we find that they're using an existing CRM. They don't want to go and use another system.
Yep.
And ideally, by using our technology integrated with that CRM, they can streamline their internal processes.
Fantastic. So why do you think moving is so painful? Have you got, after all of the moves that you've personally done, Michael, and all this experience that you've got in the industry, why does it always feel such constant upheaval?
Yeah, I'm in the UK at the moment, and I was reading an article recently. They said that Britons find moving home more stressful than having a baby, getting divorced, starting a new job, or getting married, which is quite astonishing. But
they're all the big things, aren't they?
They are, yeah. So but then there's other data as well. It says 53% of Australians have highlighted that moving home is extremely stressful compared to what they expected. So, we remove 6 to 8 hours of work in a 15 to 30-minute phone call, or even less, a 5-minute journey online. If people are comfortable doing it all online, it is a painful process. And I think, the stress of, if you're buying a house, the stress of, okay, well, you've got to find a house, you've got to potentially go to auction. That all builds, and then when you finally get to moving day, it's kind of, okay, I've got to get everything moved in, and that's
Clean.
I've got to make sure clean and everything's got to be switched on when I move in, and I've got to get rooms set up, and it's just a lot of things to do, and everyone wants it to go really smoothly. And I think I say a chunk of it is you don't want to be calling around providers and trying to get your energy switched, and they're all trying to switch you to different products, and it's extremely confusing as well. And we're finding in Australia that the government is stepping in and trying to simplify certainly the energy confusion around the products that are offered and the different value that is given in those products. So we help with that process.
Mm-hmm.
Say it's a sort of it's a non-aggressive kind of simple conversation where we're attempting to try and help remove some of that stress.
Fantastic. And do you have anyone who can strap together babies' cots? Because that was the bit that broke me when we moved.
I'm sure we could organise something. Yeah, I'm sure we could.
That was the last thing to come out of the truck, which of course should have been the first thing to come out the truck. So you're based in the UK at the moment. Why is that? What's MovingHub's growth trajectory been?
We're in the USA, Australia, and New Zealand, and now the UK, and we've been in Australia and New Zealand for 6 to 7 years, and the US for about just over 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
We entered the UK just over a year ago, and what we found is the UK is quite an interesting market. They're arguably more evolved than Australia in real estate and technology, and we found what we offer, the way we offer it, outperformed what anybody else doing here. They're all behaving like the traditional utility companies in Australia about 10 years ago, and we saw an opportunity to bring our proptech to the UK and speed up the evolution of the utility connections industry. So I'm here with the team here, expanding our operations, integrating with platforms, and it's going really well. And I'm not Australian, although I am. I've been in Australia for 15 years. I'm married to an Australian, and Australia is my home. But I've been able to come home here as well and see some family, but also help with our expansion.
Fantastic. And so you're in the US and the UK now. So how big is the combined market size of all of those markets for you guys? So
we're in the US, Australia, New Zealand, and the UK, and those markets are huge for us, and we're involved in more moves than anyone would actually understand or expect. Typically, because we integrate with platforms, we're really focused on empowering other brands, not becoming the brand at the face. Mm-hmm. And by doing that, behind the scenes, we have an awful lot of people or companies leveraging our technology. We've got tier one energy companies using our technology. We've got, as I say, the largest real estate groups across Australia and New Zealand, and they are really focused on using our tech to enhance their customer experience, and that's the opportunity for us. And as we start to expand further into the US and the UK, using the knowledge that we've learned in Australia and New Zealand on how to empower other brands is what stands us aside, because no one's really tried to be the platform in the background. Everyone typically in this industry has tried to be the brand at the forefront.
Yep. But you're genuinely being B2B to C.
That's correct. Yeah. And I could go back 7 years ago and sort of jot down, the 7 core items that we focused on, and I've mentioned them today. It's about fair commissions, transparency, empowering existing brands, servicing the entire customer move. All those things that we said we were going to do 7 years ago, we've stuck to, and it's really resonated with the companies that use our technology.
Let's just take a short break, and now a word from our sponsors. As a real estate agent, you know you need to be doing more content marketing. But creating posts for social media, creating videos and reports is hard work, lots of hard work, and it takes time. So that's why you need HomePrezo. If you're a typical agent posting 1 or 2 social media posts a week, HomePrezo can save you between 75 to 100 hours a year. How many more properties could you sell if you had that time back? HomePrezo can help you create engaging, informative videos about how the property market in your local suburb is performing. Plus, it makes creating suburb reports, rental videos for landlords, and social media infographics an absolute piece of cake. If you can type in a suburb or type an address, you can create a Prezo using HomePrezo in just a few minutes. Listeners to the PropTech podcast receive a 14-day free trial. Now that's twice as long as the normal free trial. So go to homeprezo.com.au and click the sign up button and use the code PropTech to get your extended free trial, or click the link in our show notes. And so have you done this all on your own through bootstrapping, or have you had investors, or what's that look like?
Yeah, no, it's we bootstrapped from the early days, and we were very careful with what we did. Some of our first 2 customers were one of the largest companies in Australia and one of the largest companies in New Zealand. Right. And when we sat down with them and explained what we wanted to do with our platform, they jumped on board. So we were very lucky, and I think when you're in a startup environment, an element of luck has to play a part in that. And we were very lucky to get some really key customers that essentially enabled us to then grow out and deliver our strategy that we have gone ahead with, really, and now enabled us to go into different countries. So and if we hadn't have done that, we would have gone and sought investment, but fortunately we've been lucky not to have to.
Fantastic. So what does the future hold for MovingHub?
Yeah, I mean, we're a technology company with a real focus on empowering our partners to use our technology to deliver good experience for their customers. We're continuing to evolve our products to ensure the agents can continue the conversation after they've helped people move. But I think that the main critical thing is that our marketplace and our recent investment in predictive analytics and artificial intelligence is really interesting. We want to remain focused on generating more business through referrals or future moves and see our technology helping them do that. I think, I touched on predictive analytics and artificial intelligence there. We want to be able to streamline the move process, and we have data lakes and information that can help us do that by understanding what the customer would ideally like to get out of their move, and being able to present that in a format that can streamline the experience for the customer.
Fantastic. So in this brave new world that we're all heading into, MovingHub is going to be empowering real estate agents to take the pain away of moving, whether that's into a rental property or into your new forever home. Does that sound right?
That's correct. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Will there ever be a day when moving is actually a pleasure?
I would like to think so. We would like to think that we could get the process so streamlined that it's down to 2 or 3 minutes, and all of a sudden everything is connected, and you're kept informed.
Oh my Lord! Yeah. Be still my beating heart.
Yeah, well, certainly the processes we help with, that the actual moving day, apart from physically getting to your home and unpacking the boxes, that the process of getting all your utilities connected and getting all the things that we help with can be all done in a 2 to 3 minute online transaction. So when you turn up, everything's there at your door, connected, ready to go, and you've been informed along the way, and you're literally focused on just unpacking the boxes and settling in. So, obviously there's a lot of extra things wrapped around the moving experience, which will take time, which we can't help with. The things that we help with, those 26 services, ideally a lot of those could be streamlined very quickly. And we're currently at 15 to 30 minutes. We'd like to get that down to sort of, 3 to 5 minutes in the near future.
Fantastic. And so the agent that then turns up at about 6 o'clock with a pizza and a 6-pack of beer will be a complete legend if they've helped you organise all of those things and then feeds you at the end of it as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully that the effort that we've gone to in the background also pays for those beers that the agent brings to have with the customer. So
yeah. Fantastic. Well, look, Michael, I can't wait to live in this exciting new world where moving actually becomes a pleasure, or at least certainly not as stressful as it is currently. Thank you so much for telling us all about MovingHub. It's been great having you on the show.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it, Kylie, and have a great day.
So that was Michael Dornan, CEO of MovingHub, an established innovator that helps real estate agents help their buyers, sellers and tenants by providing a white label platform that manages all that horrible work of connections. And they say that moving house is one of the most stressful things we do in our lives. It's up there with divorce and the death of a loved one. And isn't it true that you don't realise how much stuff you've got until you need to pack it in a box and stick it in a car or a van and take it somewhere else? Or of all those services that you use until you have to unplug them and reconnect them somewhere else, and how much time you can lose in your life by doing all of that work. And when you're doing all of that and trying to organise mortgages and finding a new place to live and just keep turning up to work every day, looking after kids, that becomes major stress points. So there are many great providers in this service, but what I love about MovingHub is that it enables real estate agencies to offer all of those services without asking them to let go of their relationship with their customers. And so in this way, it's a great service that enhances the role of a real estate agent in providing property services rather than outsourcing them. So what do you think? So now, if you've enjoyed this episode of the PropTech podcast, we would love you to tell all your friends, drop me a line or send me an email, or reach out via LinkedIn or our Facebook page. And you can follow this podcast on Spotify, and we're now on Google Podcasts. I'd really like to thank my audio support, Charlie Hollins, and the fabulous Jill Escudero, and our sponsors Beepo, making outsourcing easy, and Home Prezzo, who turn your data into amazing marketing content. So until next week, keep on prop teching. See ya.